So Google Ads is great at showing you an absolutely killer ROAS. But here's the truth. You're probably overspending on branded traffic and bottom of funnel clicks with very little of your spend going to any cold traffic. The problem with this is you'll find that most people will claim their Google Ads are not incremental. If they increase the budget, it doesn't result in any more sales. In this video, I'll show you how to fix that and scale with real incremental profit. Let's get into it. So, over the last 8 years, I've managed and audited hundreds of Google Ad accounts for e-commerce brands, and this ROAS problem presents in, I'd say, 95% of them. I run a very lean 6-figure agency that specializes in Google Ads for e-commerce, and I try not to overcomplicate things and focus on what will actually help brands scale. And what I'm going to show you is the first thing I look at in any single ad account. Let's get right into it. So the fact of the matter is most e-commerce brands are overspending on branded traffic and bottom of funnel clicks, and they don't even realize it. If you're seeing really high return on ad spend in your ad account and you're just not seeing that result in the back end of Shopify or wherever your sales come in, you're spending $20,000 a month, you're getting $60,000 in sales, and you're also spending in Meta, and Google is telling you it's making $100,000 and the return on ad spend is 20 or 25 or 30 or anything over 5, 6, 7. Some brands only get 2, 3, 4. Anything that's really high, particularly if you see it online on LinkedIn or anywhere else, it's generally just it's generally just coming from brand. So search terms for your own brand, these are generated by people typing in your actual brand name. So say Nike, for example, people would be typing Nike and the Nike ad would pop up. The problem is with automated bidding and with PMax, what happens is we're telling Google optimize for conversions most of the time, right? Now Google is very good at optimizing for conversions, but what it's doing is it's focusing only on brand a lot of the time. And if you dig deeper, you'll see that in particular, Performance Max, Broad Match, and then the other factor is not just brand, it'll just be remarketing heavily as well. So Performance Max is very heavy on remarketing. And the problem with that is that over time, what you'll find is as you increase your budget, it's okay up to a certain point, and as you increase your budget, you find that your sales don't really grow, or you'll find that you're getting a really ridiculous return on ad spend result. But again, you'll find a point where if you increase past that point, your return on ad spend will decline, and it might decline very rapidly, and you probably won't end up with any additional sales. So it's really a twofold problem. Not only is your ROAS that's reported in Google Ads probably not real or exaggerated, and it's not necessarily a tracking issue. Attribution is definitely a problem, and all of these platforms are incentivized, Meta as well, to show the best possible return on ad spend that they can. The problem is you're never going to fill that bottom of funnel. And so your ROAS ends up looking great because it's including returning customers, branded searches, remarketing, stuff that is really, I'm not going to say not incremental, but the actual fact of the matter is pretty much everyone is overspending on it. So you'll think you're scaling, you'll go and increase that budget, and you're not actually growing. You're just getting people that were already on their way to buy, and that's why you might be really increasing that ad spend and not getting the results you want. So what is going to fix this, and I guess how can we alleviate this problem or at least reduce it? I do want to say that I am not against brand. I actually think brand is very important, and you do want to capture it to the best of your ability, and so is bottom of funnel, and Google definitely is very good at capturing this. The problem is if you actually want to scale, you need to force the system to work in a way that's going to help you scale and not help Google grow their profit. And it's not easy, and I see many agencies make this mistake and many e-com brands. And I'm, again, not saying I'm against brand. I want you to capture all that branded traffic. I just don't want you to overspend on it and dedicate 70-80% of your budget towards it. So how can you fix it? I'm just going to tell you face to face here because I wanted to do this video quickly. So the first thing you're going to do is head into the PMax Insights tab. You can also do this in the search term report now within a PMax campaign. So the important bit is fixing PMax. So PMax is really the main culprit here, and you also want to check your branded search and any broad match search as well. But let's head into PMax in the Insights tab or in the search term report and sort your conversions, descending, so the most number of conversions or the most number of conversion value. You can even do it by impressions, clicks, whatever you want. But conversions is the most important thing for e-commerce. And then just have a look to see where are your sales in PMax coming from. For a long time, it was a bit of a hard thing to look into. At least the search term report now allows you to add things as negative keywords. So you've got that ability now. But go in there and see if your brand name, like the brand name, the name of your store, the brand names of the products you sell, unless of course you're a reseller of big brands. If you're a reseller of big brands, this will not apply. But if it's your own brand name, go in there and just work out roughly what % of your total sales and the spend is coming from branded traffic. Make sure you include any sub-brands. So if you sell a particular product and your brand name is Sony, for example, Sony Bravia is another brand, right? So whatever sub-brands you have as well, make sure you're including those in that equation. And if you're seeing any more than a 40%, 50%, if you're getting 60, 70, 80, it's a problem and you're definitely overspending on brand. You can reduce that. You really want to start segmenting this. Now, this is a big problem for those of you that haven't segmented brand. The way to get around all this is we're going to segment things. But to actually see if we have the problem, we need to check if it actually exists, because not everyone does have it and everyone will have it to varying degrees. Another bonus point you can have is to actually check, if you're in Shopify, check your new versus return customer ratio, particularly if you've increased spend of late. If you're not noticing an increase in new customers, then this is a telltale sign that your strategy is probably not working, particularly if most of the budget went to Google. Obviously, this is hard to do. It's not perfect. I'd also make sure that you're running a branded search campaign without smart bidding. I do not like smart bidding for branded search because I find that it overinflates. So it increases costs over time, and most people go, oh, my ROAS is really good on this. I'm getting a 5, 10, whatever it is. In reality, your branded search campaign should be getting very high, if not in the low, almost 100, even higher. I have some accounts that are running on a 200, 300 return on ad spend if they're high ticket, coming from the branded search campaign. Branded search campaign is a text search campaign that's going to be covering your brand name and any sub-brands. Very important because it will stop PMax from acting as a branded search. How do you know if PMax is acting as a branded search? Again, you will need to go into the Insights tab, and in some accounts you'll have the channel breakdown, which will show you where the money's spent. If a lot of money is being spent in search, in display, in video, it's probably going to be remarketing. You can use Mike Rhodes' PMax script to go into greater detail as well, and that will show you where the money's being spent. How do we get around that? Well, it is tricky, but one thing we can do is we can have 2 PMax campaigns, one with brand. The thing is, if you completely exclude brand, it will not come up. So you can have one with brand, one without, or you can just go a standard shopping route if you don't want to use PMax at all, or you can have a PMax with the brand in it, and then a standard shopping campaign excluding brand. So what I found best, guys, in segmenting is actually, again, what I just said is keeping it simple. But you really want to make sure that the things that I just said are happening and that not 80% of your money is going towards brand. You really need to start introducing some cold. How do we introduce some cold? I show you in another video. I'll leave the link below. But in essence, you're wanting to force the algorithm to not just show to your brand. You want to have some campaigns that exclude brand. And this is the same case for search. I know I don't want to jam everything into this video. It needs more time. Search also, particularly when you're using broad match, will bring in a lot of branded traffic because you're saying optimize for conversions. I'm not saying don't use PMax. I'm not saying don't use brand. Just follow the strategies I just said. Once your account structure is clean, you're going to get a much better return on ad spend, actual figure that's going to be more meaningful, and you're going to know what you're spending on brand versus non-brand. And you're going to, a lot of the time when your traffic fluctuates and your return on ad spend fluctuates, it's often brand, which is generated by, if your Meta ad, Facebook ad budget drops, then your return on ad spend on Google will probably drop as well, purely because of brand. And if you've got no cold traffic coming in, it's a big problem because it really will tank. So guys, thank you so much. If this helped, or if it made you go, this is me, I've put together a free framework of exactly how I run Google ads. It talks you through exactly how I would do it for a client account. It's what I use to clean accounts up in 30 to 60 days, roughly most of the time, and then we scale from there. Links below, it's totally free if you want it. And then if you want a second set of eyes on your account, I'll leave a link below to see how we can work together. Appreciate you watching, and let me know in the comments if this helped you. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.